Hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Ari, and today I am going to go over my 5-star predictions for the books that I plan to read next year. Now, if you joined me last year, if you watched yesterday's video, first off, side note, I hope you like this shirt in this background because I am pre-filming like crazy. So you're gonna see a lot of this. Second, I suck at predicting 5 stars other than things that are like deep in a series that I've given basically everything in the series 5 stars. Or by authors like Brandon Sanderson, where almost everything he writes I give 5 stars. So these are kind of like I'm manifesting that these books are gonna be 5 stars. I don't think any of these are new releases. I think all of these are already released, already out, though I could be wrong. We'll figure it out as I go through. But these are books that I want to read next year. Like, I want to prioritize reading next year, and I'm manifesting. We're manifesting 5 stars for all of these books. If you want to know how I did last year, that video was yesterday, and I will link it up in the which should be over on that side, not this side. I don't know what side it's on. It's somewhere that I just pointed. All right, the first book that I'm predicting I am going to give 5 stars. Excuse you. The first book that I'm predicting I'm going to give 5 stars is a book that I have heard people talk about nonstop. And they say it's weird, which I like, that it has very unlikable characters, and everybody loves it. And oh, did I mention it's really weird? And that is Bunny by Mona Awad. I'm gonna scoot over a little bit so I can put the covers here. But Bunny by Mona Awad. Yeah, I've heard nothing really concrete about this book because it seems so weird that no one can really describe it. But I like weird and I like unlikable female characters written by female authors. So, crossing my fingers that I love this as much as I've seen some other booktubers love this. The next one is a change up from last year, and it's a graphic novel. So I discovered in 2021 that there are graphic novels that I actually really like. Saga is a good example of that. Saga is one of my 5-star graphic novels of the year, but there's other ones that I gave 5 stars this year. So I'm looking at high potential for graphic novels, and for this prediction I'm going with Money Shot by Tim Seeley. And this seems so ridiculous, it seems like something I like. And what I believe this is about, which I don't really like going into graphic novels knowing too much because they're usually shorter and easy to give away, but I believe this is a space station or a spaceship full of adult entertainers. And they just make porn on their spaceship. And sci-fi and porn sounds like something I'd like. So we're gonna read it, see if I like it. Next book on this list is the classic, and I try to put a classic on this list every single year, if only to make me read more classics. And for this one, I'm going to I'm gonna predict that I'm gonna give 5 stars to The Awakening by Kate Chopin. So this one is, I think, I'm not really sure what it's about. I've read another book by Kate Chopin, or it was a short story by Kate Chopin. Hello, editing me interrupting here to say that whatever I said about The Awakening wasn't saying anything. I was just like randomly spewing bullshit that wasn't like an actual summary. And basically what this book is about is I don't know, but I do know that this is one of the first feminist books,
and it talks about feminism without being condescending, and that sounds like something that I would like, so I'm gonna read it.
I've heard good things about this. I have a copy of it somewhere, not in front of me right now, but I do plan to read it this year, and hopefully it gets 5 stars from me. There is another classic that is on this list. Kind of. I mean, it is a classic, but it's a collection of short stories, and it is the Ghost Stories by Edith Wharton. Now, Edith Wharton is one of my favorite classic authors. She wrote a collection of short stories that I think was published after her death, and I love her writing and I love ghost stories, so I'm hoping like the combination of the two is everything I ever wanted in life. And the dog agrees. Next up kind of goes back to the comic thing, but it's a little bit different, and that is The Last Human by Zach Jordan. Now, The Last Human is a comic strip that I think he does, and I'm not even sure if The Last Human is the name of the comic strip, but he created a comic strip about a really scary giant space spider monster that adopts a human child, and everybody is terrified of the human child. And it's a really interesting it's a really interesting concept, and I've seen like bits and pieces of the comic, but it's been made into a novel, and I want to read the novel because I love the story in the comic, and I can only imagine that I love it so much more in the novelization format. Next up is kind of the prediction of 5 stars outside of my normal genres that I read, and that is Firekeepers Daughter by Angeline Bully. And this is, I think it's historical fiction. It might even be young adult historical fiction, but it might not be historical. It might just be like general fiction. I'm not entirely sure on the timeline of this, but this follows a girl on a reservation, and I believe that she maybe is only half Native American or wasn't initially raised on the reservation, and so she doesn't really fit in because she's an outsider, she's different, and something is happening, and the FBI are investigating maybe murders or crimes on the reservation, and she gets like wrapped up in this mystery. So I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I was like, you know what, I want to read this, and I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars because it sounds like a really compelling story. And the last one on this list, this is a stretch. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a stretch. This is a book that I have not heard a single person say a bad thing about. Everybody I've heard or I've seen read this, heard about it from, has given this 5 stars and said this is one of the best books they've ever read in their entire life. But it is a genre that I don't like. Not really a genre that I don't like because it's fantasy, but it's middle grade. And I just really rarely, if ever, get along with middle grade. And that's Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. So, never heard a bad thing about Amari, but I don't like middle grade. So is Amari so good and so amazing that it's going to overcome my dislike for middle grade? Let me know what you think about my selection of 5-star predictions down in the comments below, and if you have any suggestions for books that you think I would give 5 stars, leave that in the comments below as well. Anyway, I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Bye!